everybody. My name is Tam DeBolt, and my co-host,
Caleb Clark.
And this is episode 25 of our series called, say it with me, Zoomin' In. So here we are, friend, in the middle of the day. You can see sun coming through the slats on my bedroom blinds.
We have perfect natural lighting.
Perfect natural lighting. Oh, it's good to see your face.
It's always good to see your face.
Tell everybody why we do this series, sir.
Who's Zooming In was started because we miss our people.
Mm-hmm.
And we're pretty sure that you miss your people too. Most of them are probably the same people. So this is an amazing way for us to catch up with our friends, find out what new and exciting things are going on, and to make some new friends and introduce you to some new amazing people as well.
Yes. And so I don't get off track. Caleb always gives me 3 things that I'm not allowed to talk about. So today, on this beautiful Wednesday, what are those 3 things, sir?
So the first thing is cremation.
No.
Just not going to talk about it.
Okay, done. Nope.
The second thing I physically can't talk about, Easter just happened this Sunday, and so I don't want to hear anybody talking about a Cadbury egg.
No.
Because I'm full of them.
I'm full of them. Okay, I'm with you. Blech.
And then finally, I like to keep it general. I like to make sure I don't get too specific. So I really don't want us to talk about a video you can find on YouTube of Angela Lansbury opening the Oscars in 1973.
Okay, I'm right.
So don't,
really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing it afterwards.
So go do it when
Okay, I'll definitely do it. All right, so I got it. Cremation. I can't even. You're too much.
We're not talking about it.
I'm going to talk about my urn of it. No, I'm kidding. So today we are going to see a familiar face to people that love theater in Birmingham. Again, this is 2 in a row. So this beautiful young woman is a mother of 2, and she refers to them as the Yeagerlings, which I love on Instagram and the facial. She is a runner. So we've all seen pictures of her in races and doing that thing and taking care of her body. She has a BA from Birmingham-Southern. She has her master's in fine arts in theater performance from the University of Southern Mississippi. She and I have seen a lot of each other over the last year because we're both in that Firehouse Shelter, the In Toto Arts Initiative. So we get to see each other sometimes twice a week. And she has also, she's been doing theater this entire year, doing theater for young people and working like crazy. So get into the Zoom room, Miss Rebecca Yeager. Turn your camera on, my friend. There she is. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's so good to see your faces.
It's so good to see you too. I love the background that you're in front of.
Thank you. I'm on my porch. This is my favorite room in the house. I like to say. So
you guys live out in the woods, don't you?
We do. We live in the middle of nowhere, right next to a city, which is very nice. A good combination of the two. And we live on the Cahaba River on 40 acres of family land that my grandfather bought 1 million years ago. Charles and the kids and I actually live in the house that my grandfather and grandmother built and that my mom grew up in.
So is this picture of the kids, was it taken out in your yard?
Yeah, this is out in our yard on a normal Tuesday. Imagination and ready for adventure. And there's a big hill right in front of Charlie there that you can't see. So I was very grateful that they were too heavy to push each other down into.
How's it been with trying to work and also being a mom of 2 little ones during a pandemic?
You know, I'm just going to be real. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of good. It's been a lot of stress. It's been a lot of blessing. And it's been a lot of me cursing under my breath. But in retrospect, it's been a tough year, but it's really been a lovely year because my kids are so young. And so to be able to just be home with them in this giant space that we have. I mean, if we didn't have this backyard, I think I would have lost my mind day 2. Every new season of this last year, and there have been many, has brought its own challenges, but it's been going decently.
Good.
Overall, but there have been moments where I'm like, get me out of here.
What is this? Caleb sent me this picture to share of one of your little bits. tell me the story behind this craziness.
This is Rebecca's son, Huck, who decided at a very young age to teach me a lesson about trying to use babies as props for Instagram photos. I was visiting my dear friend Rebecca in her office, and she was like, hold this baby, I have to go do something. And I was like, sure, I'll hold your baby, and I'm gonna take a really cute Instagram photo while I do it. And he said, no, sir, absolutely not.
My kids have really clear boundaries and are very vocal. I'm raising very boisterous children who know what they want. And it's this thin line between like not having them hold on to that and use it for good and not for evil, and then having them not use it on me and listen to me and do what I say, but not lose any of that self-assuredness. How do you walk that line? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. What was going on in your life a year ago? What were you doing? Where were you working?
Birmingham Children's Theater. And I was in final rehearsals for The Sword and the Stone. We were about to open. I was playing Merlin, which was awesome. This gorgeous dress and this big staff that was just magic. There was a dragon in our show. I mean, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. I was teaching in person at Birmingham-Southern. I'm an adjunct, and at AUM online, I'm an adjunct there too. So I was teaching online, teaching in person, teaching in little studios, performing. I had kids in school. It was great. And then the world started shutting down. We got to final dress for Sword in the Stone. And we decided, if we have people we want to make sure see the show, we need to bring them to this final dress Sunday rehearsal. So Charles brought the kids and they got to see it, and Alex Ungerman's kids got to see it.
Good.
And those were the 5 kids in Birmingham who got to see our beautiful show about what it is to choose right over might, and how to be kind, and how to be a servant leader, how to live your life by the example of love. And sadly, 5 kids got to see it, but that's 5 little lives that got to go into this crazy time with that message. So,
and you have not done a show on the main stage or in the Wee Folks Theater since. The biggest reason that Rebecca is here today is because she's going to talk about how she's been able to continue working, and that goes back to the Children's Theater. Let's see, you have continued to move and run during this whole time. Did you just say that you finished a race recently, right?
Yeah, I ran a race the day after I got my Pfizer shot, and it went really well. So I got my second shot and ran a 10K the next day, and that was good. That's a big release for me, running. It just helps my brain and my body be in a good place to go and just run fast by myself with my headphones in for a little bit. It makes me much less cranky. I'm much kinder to those around me. I'm stuck in the house with all day. So
well, and your body folds into everything that you do in your career. Like, for instance, something I was telling Caleb that I did not know about you is that you're in training to educate for theatrical intimacy, which is a whole new field. And it's about time, right?
It's about time. I love this work. I've always been a very physical actor, a very physical performer. I was a gymnast when I was a kid. I've run for years. I've done yoga for years. I'm an actor combatant, so I fight unarmed and swords and all that fun stuff. I've done lyra and other aerial arts for a show. And so this is my instrument. This is what I use to create characters and tell stories. Being on stage is all about being real and honest and vulnerable. And we can't do that unless we feel safe and protected. And so the theatrical intimacy work is all about that. It's all about giving performers and directors, and audience members, teachers and students the language and the boundaries to say, here is where I'm comfortable, here is where I'm uncomfortable, and how do we navigate this really intimate space together, whether it's just being in a space together and telling a story,
right,
or whether that story involves something even heavier, intimacy or fighting or kissing or touching in any way, shape, or form. You've got to make sure everybody's good with what you're doing and feeling safe in that space. So I'm excited to bring this new knowledge to my students, to my work, to Birmingham in general.
I have this picture of you teaching, and I know this was before the pandemic, but I mean, even in this example, I mean, the kids are up and look at them, hula hoops and all the fabric and everything. You can just see it as part of your teaching process.
Yeah. Little bodies have to move. That's how they learn. I firmly believe that our big bodies know all that stuff that our little bodies did. And we need all those same outlets. We learn better when we're moving along with it. We are able to face our day, go to sleep better, take care of our brains and our bodies better when we're moving and using them.
One thing you may not know, Tam, is that Rebecca is also a baby whisperer, a child whisperer. We've done several things together at Birmingham Children's Theater. And after the shows, you know, you've got a house of 1,200 6-year-olds, right? So after the shows, we'll do these little talkbacks or games with the kids, and it can be an entire cast of 12 people. Each cast member will try to get the kids' attention, and then Rebecca just sort of from the back of the stage will go, "Hey, everybody, quiet down." And the kids are all like, it's the most amazing thing.
He has magic powers.
Seen.
All it is honoring that a kid is a human and not this little thing we can control.
So the main reason I think we wanted to have you on today is, as I said in the introduction, that you are one of the lucky ones here in town that is continuing to work. And this picture of you, I mean, come on. I am so happy that BCT is still making shows for kids and that they are utilizing you and your magic powers to make that happen. So tell us a little bit about the Camp in a Box and the cardboard theater.
So much has been happening. When we had to shut down Sword in the Stone, which is one of 3 shows that had to shut down this time last year. We had to pull off the road. We had to shut down our We Folks show. We had to shut down our main stage show. And that's it. That's where BCT is on that stage, and We Folks on tour. And schools were closed. Everybody was closed. So what do we do? How do we get arts to people who need it? Because BCT exists to serve the most vulnerable in our community, which is children. A lot of our audiences are Title I schools. A lot of our audiences just don't have the funds to go seek outside arts education. They come to BCT for that. And so it was so important to all of us on staff that we figure out a way to keep the arts going. Most of us got furloughed, and because everything got furloughed, we all said we'll come back on contract and we'll figure out a way to make this work. And our amazing Alex Ungerman, I think you guys have talked to recently.
We did. We just talked to him, and he's the one that told us you guys really need to talk to Rebecca Yeager because she's making it happen.
He and I have spent a lot of time together over the last year making pandemic theater. In some staff meeting somewhere, he came up with this fabulous idea to do a puppet series, and it grew into a cardboard puppet theater. And so all last spring and through the summer, we even did a holiday special written by the fabulous Mark Raby. We created a little cardboard proscenium and cardboard puppets and sets and wrote our own 10, 15-minute plays and found a way to bring art with some really relevant themes to Birmingham families. And then we needed summer camp. Kids needed somewhere to go and something to do, and we couldn't bring them to us. So we sent them Camp in a Box. We packaged up all these arts and craft supplies, and I hopped on the computer with them 30 minutes every day and talked them through how to make all these fun things and build their own puppet theaters so they could create at home as well. And then fall came and we still weren't back where we should be. We weren't back in our theater. And so we took a show called The Girl Who Swallowed a Cactus on the road to schools outdoors. So we set up in parking lots and on ball fields. We did a weekend at Avondale Park. And we even created a tabletop version. And then the tabletop version are these little bitty tiny puppets. We had like pom-poms and like a coffee mug, that kind of thing, that size, that we could do virtually for schools who weren't comfortable having us even come and be outside.
Because you did that. You went and performed this show outside in parking lots and at schools and things, right?
One woman, 5 puppets, 45 minutes.
Wow. You need a truck. One woman, 5 puppets. Like
woman, 5 puppets. It's my new slogan. It's my new motto for life. And then that kind of led into the spring too, which is we did The Biggest Little House in the Forest. It's geared a little younger, and that was one woman, 6 puppets. So we're just adding puppets. And BCT is doing, they did a holiday show as well. My kids did it. They loved it. And then they have Big Sister, Little Brother on the road right now, which is, I got to go in and do some fight choreography for them for that, which is a lot of fun.
So they're still not performing in the space in any of the theaters and having kids come in. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. We are going to kids now, taking it on the road. It's worked well. So I think the motto of theater is just to be flexible and to figure it out. The folks at BCT have that figured out, how to be flexible, how to reinvent, how to just serve these wonderful, wonderful children in Birmingham who need some arts.
I love that you said that about being flexible. I was actually texting with a family member today who has been watching all of our episodes of Who's Zooming In. He made the observation, which I loved, which was that he said, so many of your guests, I've noticed, have learned how important it is to stay flexible, that, you know, things are not going to go as planned, and that flexibility is so important to artists and to anyone in life. So I love that you mentioned that, because I think that's a theme that we're seeing. The people who have stayed working, the people who have remained fulfilled by their art have done so because they said, okay, this clearly is not going to look the way I wanted it to. So how can I keep going? And I love that.
Yeah. Right. You know, I looked when everything hit last March and BCT furloughed us all. And I was staring down a barrel of nothing for the unforeseeable future. I thought, well, we'll just make this a sabbatical, right? Yeah. What is this going to be? I'm going to read a lot. I'm going to do a lot of yoga. I'm going to just, figure out how to herd these children who are just feral at this point because they've been home with me for 2 weeks. And then, then we got back on track and got to do some stuff. And then we got furloughed again. And then we got back and break and back. It's just, you just never know. And so I'm taking the blessings as they come and trying to figure out a way to make the obstacles work for me. And so far it's gone pretty well. So
have you been doing any theatrical education during this time?
Yes. One of the investments I made for myself was to start doing theatrical intimacy training. So the folks at TIE, Theatrical Intimacy Educators, are one of the few out there who are teaching folks how to safely work on very intimate scenes in theater and film. So
I'm glad you brought it up because we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'm glad you're mentioning how you got your training. Yeah. And are you teaching other people to do it too? Is it both things?
Yes. So it is, I've just kind of started my work with TIE, my education with them. I've started to employ in my work that I'm doing. I've had the opportunity to go in to consult in a few different classroom settings over this pandemic year, and have found that the TIE training, the intimacy training, really transitions well into any classroom setting that you're in, even if you're not, staging a sex scene. We're just individuals sharing a space, and we've got to figure out how to do that safely so that everybody can be honest and vulnerable and real and not feel threatened or intimidated in any way.
Nobody's going to feel safe on stage with you if they don't feel safe off stage with you.
Exactly.
The whole culture of what you do as soon as you walk into the theater.
Yeah. Well, education in general, the way theatrical rehearsals work have changed immensely in the last years. I mean, the way that people do classroom management now is completely different than when we were kids. Oh, yeah. And the way that a rehearsal is run now is different than when I was even in grad school or high school or any of that. It's all different and so much more equitable now because we know better. So we can better. And I think that that's just one more step to me making sure that I'm doing better is continuing to do this research and figure out how to best honor the people who are sharing space with me so that we all feel safe and welcome, and so we can tell the best story possible.
Right.
It's a job, right? We cannot live fully honestly in these imaginary circumstances if we don't feel safe.
No.
Happen.
And I think years and years and years ago, being uncomfortable, it was our responsibility to figure out how not to be uncomfortable, as actors, go ahead, figure it out, work it out on your own time. But it's just not that way anymore. Thank goodness.
How are you supposed to do that when you're in a room where the director is in charge and then the stage manager, and then you have all these people who have worked with this company for years, and you're brand new and green and you don't know how to say that crosses a boundary for me.
Right.
I don't feel safe doing this. So the whole point, the overriding point of the theatrical intimacy training, whether or not you're dealing with intimate scenes, is that power dynamic disappears.
Yes.
You have an environment of respect, of mutual respect, where you can always say, today, this is a boundary for me. It wasn't yesterday. It might not be tomorrow, but today, this is a boundary. And everybody else in the room says, I see your boundary. I honor your boundary. Your boundary, wherever it is perfect.
I love that.
And I just love what you can create within those rules. Because, in improv, you've got to have a few rules, and that gives you freedom to create, right? It's the same thing with this. If we are honoring and setting rules around people's bodies and their spirits and their minds, and we're protecting those, the creativity is going to go through the roof.
I'm so glad you were with us today. Is there what's coming up? Anything new that you can announce or tell us about? Or
I have a handful of things in the works.
Good.
But no contracts have yet been signed. So we'll keep those under wraps. But you can check out my website, Rebecca-Yeager.com.
Yes.
By my fabulous friend Joe Hernandez, jmhmedia.com. Give them a shout out too.
We will.
Yeah. So all that stuff will be on my website.
Yay. I'm so glad you came today to talk to us.
I know you were talking about having some sabbatical time too. And I know that probably all went away, but I know your creative spirit, and I hope that you've had some time to read and do all the things that make your heart happy too.
I have.
You. Good.
Thank you. Good. In between virtual kindergarten and wrangling Huck.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit of it.
Well, let's find out some silliness about Rebecca Yeager. Question number 1, my friend. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is your favorite dessert?
Banana pudding.
No, you are not the only one. Somebody else told us that. I love banana pudding.
But it has to be cold. Like none of this hot banana pudding. I don't know who thought that was a thing, but it's not.
Are we also of the opinion that it is vanilla pudding that is flavored by the bananas and not banana flavored pudding?
Oh no, that is a monstrosity. It is pudding, vanilla wafers and bananas. I want like poor woman's Jello pudding from a box with the bananas.
Okay, good. Glad we cleared that up. Question number 2 is dogs or cats?
Dogs. Yeah.
Do you have any dogs?
I do. I have 2 dogs.
Okay.
Bella, who is 15, God love her, and then Bo, who's a hound dog. He's our Mississippi hound dog. He is, how old is Bo? 11. So we have old puppies.
Tell the people what else you have, Rebecca.
Oh, we have 9 chickens too.
We got to go see the chickens, Kayla.
I know.
They're beautiful.
We should have done this on the farm.
I mean, we live in the woods too. So, I mean, we see a fair number of foxes and deer and owls. And kids are always
petting zoo.
Dogs.
Petting zoo.
It is. It's a zoo. Yeah.
All right. Question number 3.
Okay.
Do you still make a wish when you blow out your birthday candles?
Yes. And it's always the same wish.
Question number 4. If you didn't live in Alabama, where would you live?
North Carolina, in the mountains in North Carolina, or the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
The greenest tree-filled places in our country, right?
No one should be surprised by those answers.
No,
I know,
not
I'm
at
not
all.
surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised. All right, question number 5. If you could only wear one color for the rest of your life, what would that color be?
Green.
Of course.
Of course.
Who's surprised? Question number 6. What did you collect as a child?
Oh, well, it depends on the age. So as a small, tiny human, my mom was always returning rocks to me from my pockets. My
Right.
laundry pockets, just tons of them. When I started going to see shows and movies, I kept all of my ticket stubs. So
Oh,
I had those. And I kept a whole bunch of pictures too. I'm a good photographer,
mhm.
but I'm a great taker of many pictures. Lots and lots of pictures.
Question number 7. Are you related to anybody famous? And if so, who?
So, no, not really. But
Not really, she says. Like, there's a story here.
I really set you up for something exciting, and it's just not at all. My uncle, my grandmother's brother, the grandmother who lived in this house, was Birmingham-Southern, and he was a playwright. He did a lot of work at what is now the Virginia Sanford Theater, like way back in the
Oh, wow.
30s.
Very cool.
And so he went to California and, just made a name for New York and California, and just made a name for himself as a playwright. And
What's his name?
Jack Bearfield.
Okay.
Wow.
And I now have all his books and plays when he passed away. All to me, because I was the only one that would participate in the plays that he made us do when we were
Oh,
kids.
sure.
My sister and my cousins were like, we are not messing with this. And I was like, teach me. I want to learn all the things.
Oh, see, it's in your blood.
Question number 8. Sweet or salty?
Salty. Like, I will eat the salt in the bottom of the pretzel bag.
Oh, God, who
That
doesn't?
to me is lovely. Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
I love
I mean, I have
yes.
some water handy, but now I will say every now and then, like, I'll put 3 or 4 M&Ms in with those pretzels, or the little sweet in with that salty.
Moderation.
Yum. Yum. Good answer. All right, we only have 2 more questions left, ma'am. And here's my last question. If the world opened tomorrow and you had to run to go buy a ticket to see something, are you going to see a musical first or a straight play?
Oh, I will see whatever I can see, because I just want my butt back in a theater seat. We were supposed to go see Hamilton, and then that was my birthday present last year.
Oh my goodness.
So we might get to go this August, but I hope
I
I
hope so.
something before then, between now and then.
I hope so.
Whatever it is, I will see it, because I love theater of
Yay.
all types, and I just need to go be in a space with some people and have some catharsis.
Question number 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a total snooze, 10 being a bag of laughs, how funny are you?
I think I am hysterical.
I do too.
Nobody else does. I think I'm hysterical. My prime audience is like under 7, though. So
Yes.
if you're 7 or under, or have a really weird sense of humor, I am your girl. The most normal people, however, are like, what do we do with her? Oh, I can't.
What does that say about us, Caleb? We both think she's funny. So does that mean we're
7-year-olds.
that
Yeah.
we're 7-year-olds? Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Like 4. I'll give you 7. Caleb's like 4.
Thank you for joining us today, everybody. That's Rebecca Yeager.